Good afternoon and welcome to More Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we got something for the kiddos, or something for those individuals out there who collect Dragonstars. This is the Disney Pixar Lightyear utility truck for 5-inch scale figures. And I was thinking, like with the Mattel WWE Wreck and Slam stuff, that's for quote unquote 6-inch figures, but actually is a little large for 6-inch figures. I was hoping that though this said 5-inch figures, it would be a little large for 5-inch figures. Color me surprised whenever I learned that Disney's actually precise, unlike Mattel. So when they say 5 inches, they mean 5 inches. They don't mean 6 inches. They don't mean 5.7 inches. They don't mean 5.2 inches. They mean 5 inches. That's exactly it. They don't mean 4.5, okay? They mean 5. So, I got this for to see if it would fit my figures, but if it didn't, then it was going to be an excellent present for my nephew. He really likes them. Oh, Krillin, you fell over. I guess Cream must have come over here and tried to give you some love. Okay, so we've got Krillin, which is not really the proper size for Krillin, but he's standing in the back, and there's actually some little points in here. Let's see, does Krillin have things on the bottoms of his feet? He does. So let's see if Krillin can fit into one of these points on the back of the truck, because there are points so that you can stick your figure's feet in them. And no, Krillin's are a little smaller than what's available there. Sadly. Actually, wait, does Krillin even have any points on it? No, he doesn't. Okay. I'm just so used to action figures having those circles underneath their feet. I just assume that they all do, but that's not the case for Krillin here. I've got Bulma driving from Dragonstars. She's actually, let's see if we can open the door here. Boom. That's pretty cool. I like the fact that Bulma can drive in there, and whenever I got it, I felt it up, and we're going to go over what it feels like, but I wanted to state that before I get into this. When I first felt this, I imagined Dragon Ball Z, because this feels like something Capsule Corp would own. Okay, this feels like something that you could hit a capsule button and get. This is a Capsule Corp vehicle if I've ever come across a Capsule Corp vehicle before. Now, it does have a crazy long arm, and I've left that in the packaging because I wanted, and we don't have to have Krillin around anymore. Krillin, you can come down here, hang out down there, and don't fall over, okay? All right, because these are not my action figures. These are my roommate's action figures. Gengar really is into Dragon Ball, and so that's... he had all these Dragon Ball figures. Now, let's go over the positives and negatives of this thing. What was that? What was that noise? Okay, I don't know what that was, but at least it's not bad. Okay, so we're going to go over the positives and negatives today. I'm going to tell you how it feels in the hand, and we're just going to break it down and talk about its pros and its cons, positives and negatives. I guess at the end of the day, we're going to do a SWOT analysis. If you don't know what a SWOT analysis is, that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So let's do a SWOT analysis for this guy. Yeah, I know. I'm using my business school training. Oh, no. My 4-year degree is put to work. Heaven forbid. So let's bring into the SWOT analysis. So the strengths of this guy is that this is a solid figure. Honestly, I like the SWOT analysis. I may start just doing that for more videos. So, all right, this is a solidly built structure. All right, you don't have to worry about your kids or your nephews or your nieces or even your friends' kids. Really breaking this thing. This thing is sturdy. It's really sturdy. I love it. I love how sturdy this thing is. Now, another strength about it is that it's got some really great sculpting. Let's see. I'm going to put my finger on Bulma so she doesn't fall around too much. And let's take a look at the underside. Look at all of that sculpt work underneath it. There is everything sculpted. You got some fun parts there. Of course, they got the screw holes, but you've got an axle kind of sculpted in there. It's really nicely done. This one surprised me, okay? because I absolutely love it whenever they spend the time and the attention to sculpt the underside. Like, look, this is a good vehicle for its size. It's got a well sculpted underside. And continuing with strengths, 2 opening doors and 2 seats. No seat belts, sadly, but there is enough room in there. And a steering wheel that adjusts. It slides back and forth and rotates so that you can actually fit different sized figures in there, depending on body size and stuff, but not height. It's strictly 5-inch scale, like I said before. Now we're going to continue with the back end here. The back end here is filled with some more strengths for this figure. I have to say, I think one of the coolest parts about it, and this is something that I have harped on the G.I. Joe classified team constantly. I am constantly harping on this. Look at that. There is storage for accessories included. It's this big round thing that feels like it's a grill. And honestly, if you wanted to, now this is something that you could do if you had this figure, which, by the way, I found it on sale on Amazon.com for $7, okay? At $7. So for $7, I think you can play with it. So this thing right here feels a lot like those grills, the big round ones that you see sometimes in people's backyards and things. So what I was thinking is, if you're a modder or something like that, remove this and then get a little, if you have a 3D printer, 3D print out a grill pattern and put that there in the middle, and then you have a grill that you can have in your backyard. I think this is an amazing grill, possibilities there, because of its shape and how it works and the fact that it snaps down. It just feels like it could be a great grill. Or you could just use it for weapon storage. Like, for instance, I got this Transformers weapon here, and we're just going to drop it in there. Boom! I got that. That is nice. I love that. I love weapon storage. I love accessory storage. And with G.I. Joe, we need accessory storage. We desperately need accessory storage. We absolutely need accessory storage. And please, 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 Hasbro classified team, I wish you watched my videos, because I would really love you for this next Haslab project to include some bins, just some opening and shutting containers that don't have anything in them, so that we can put things in them. Yeah, that would be cool if you gave us enough storage to put a lot of things. Anyway, that's me done harping. So we're going to continue with the textures in the strengths of this figure, and the strengths are, I love the increased textures up here at the roof. Like, this roof for the vehicle has a strength addition onto it, and not a strength addition. It's been made sturdier by this panel at the top, and this is where the giant arm is supposed to rest. There are no spots for figures to stand up here, sadly, though there are 2 spots in the bed of the truck for figures to stand. Now, continuing with the bed of the truck here, we've got this little piece that moves back and forth. That's part of the arm. But the sculpt work in here is really nice. Pardon me. The sculpt it feels like the bed of a truck. Except it's different in that with the bed of the truck, you feel these little knobs that stick up, and then you have these big, wide areas that are low down. It's the opposite. The thin areas are low down, and the big, wide areas are sticking up. So coming back here, there is no tailgate for this, which is kind of a shame. It would have been neat if they had included a tailgate, but oh well. And you got these little fences on either side of the truck bed, which work out pretty well. This is a really nice thing, and I do wish there was a little seat, some seating back here for the characters to sit on. But oh well. And yeah, coming over here, we've got these really fun-feeling wheels. They got that weird thing that some sci-fi wheels have, where there's like an ellipsis shape that covers a the what is that called? Ratio? No. Yeah, I can't come up with a word for it. Anyway, it only covers half of this circle, and it's the half of the diameter. But name left my head. Anyway, it's a similar pattern you see on many sci-fi vehicles that have a solid hubcap, but then they have that little piece taken out. I've seen it in the mini sci-fi stuff, and it's just kind of commonplace for these. I don't know why they do it like that. Maybe they think it looks more sci-fi, but at the same time, like, you could all stop designing the same wheels. It makes me wonder, like, is there just one company out there in the future that encompasses all or most of sci-fi media, and they just sell wheels? They just sell wheels. Uh, okay, now those are the strengths. This is a good sturdy toy. It's got some really amazing textures. I like the front window. I like where the headlights are. I like the grill at the front. This. I love the fact that there's a little ladder so that you can have a figure actually climbing into the vehicle. There's a little ladder underneath the front doors. That's fun. Those are little bitty pieces that really go above and beyond. Like, this is better than the Mattel WWE Slam stuff, because though that stuff is pretty nice, this has got a lot more attention to detail put into it, and that surprised me whenever I picked this up. I was like, wait, I paid $7 for this, but there's so much detail. There's just a ridiculous amount of detail for this thing, and I do think this is neat. There's this little piece that sticks up above the roof where the rest of the roof kind of bends down towards the windshield. And this piece actually bends up and reveals this rectangular spot, which reminds me a lot of city buses and how they have that little number thing. So I'm thinking that's what that means, is that's supposed to show you the utility truck's number. I may be wrong on that, but that's what I think. Anyway, so that's the strengths. Let's talk about its weaknesses. Weakness number one, it is only for 5-inch figures. It doesn't fit 3.75 very well. It seems to just work well for 5-inch figures. Another weakness to it is that there's not much happening here when it comes to play features, other than the crazy awesome arm, which we'll talk about in a second. There's the window here is a bit too skinny. I wish they had increased its width by a bit more to help kind of make it easier for figures sitting there to see out the window, because even whenever you bring in a 5-inch figure, their eyes are pretty far up the windshield instead of towards like the middle area. So maybe they should have just made this windshield slightly taller, a few millimeters taller, and I think it would have worked out pretty well. The further weaknesses of this guy is there's no trailer hitch, which I think is kind of a sad thing. You could have included a trailer hitch of some sort, even if you don't have any trailers to go with it. A trailer hitch would have been nice. And no rubber wheels. Okay, that is kind of a weakness I see in this. A negative is there's just no rubber wheels, and it's kind of sad. But other than that, this thing did not come with an action figure, which I actually consider that to be a strength. I didn't want a Buzz Lightyear action figure with this. I just wanted the vehicle, so I consider that to actually be a strength and not a weakness. And yeah, so moving on to opportunities, we've already... Hi, Cream. Who's a good cat? Who's a good cat? You're a good cat. Did you just knock Krillin over? No, you knocked over a Transformer. Okay, I don't care. Anyway, some of the opportunities I've seen in this thing are, like I said before, this really nice barrel thing could become a barbecue. This entire thing could be gutted out and changed into something for bigger figures, or you could gut it out and change it into something for a little bit of a smaller figure. Toy redesigners and people that tear these toys apart and rebuild them, I think you can have a lot of fun with this one. I do believe that you can. It feels like it's got a lot of opportunities for it, depending on the right person getting a hold of it and playing with it, and tearing it apart and rebuilding it into something really, really cool and magical. Magical because it's a Disney product, and I couldn't help myself. So that's the opportunities I see here. It's got some good stuff about it, and it has the opportunity to become a better vehicle depending on what you do. And then the threats with this thing. Well, I think a lot of it's glued together. It's not going to work well for 6-inch figures or 7-inch figures or anything like that, or even 3.75. So I can't really think of many threatening things with this. And, except maybe the plastic quality going down after a while, but not this stuff. This stuff feels sturdy. This stuff feels strong. This is a good plastic quality on this guy. So, not many threats there. Except, if you're hunting Dragon Balls and you're going against Bulma. There's going to be a lot of threats if you're trying to collect the Dragon Balls before Bulma gets them. Okay, let's get into some of the accessory bits. The accessory bit that came with this, and I'm not even bringing it out of the box. Like I said, whenever I actually figured out what this thing was all about, I made a decision that this was going to be a birthday present for my nephew. So here is the box. It's a utility truck, and this crazy arm there, I can kind of feel it in there. It's got a big wide base, and it's got multiple joints. It comes up here to kind of a grasp or hand thingamajigger. Anyway, it feels like it's a good sturdy arm. I didn't want to bother getting it out of the package, but let's just put this thing in the middle. There we go. That's what it looks like in the packaging. It's not, the packaging for this thing is all right. I mean, you get what you pay for $7 when it comes to the packaging. But this is something I believe is a nice budget present for all of you out there who are like me, who find themselves being uncles of many different nieces and nephews, and who need a little, can't really afford getting them all some nice presents, but you can afford getting them all some decent presents. And this is one of those decent ones. Especially if, like me, your nephew is turning, I think, 7. So a 7-year-old can definitely figure out uses for this vehicle, I assure you. And another positive about it is, since it is so cheap, and since it is so rugged and durable, they can play with this in the yard with no worries about it breaking. Nothing's really going to tear this thing up. I think a parent can step on it and not break it. I'm not going to try it myself, but definitely this will not get run over by the lawnmower. It's too big for that. It will be noticed before the lawnmower hits it, and I don't think it's really going to get chewed by dogs. Pardon me. So, my overall thoughts and feelings on this is that if you're getting this as a present, I didn't even notice. There's actually a big hole in the back, so you can reach your fingers in there and adjust the action figure. That's nice. My thoughts and feelings on this thing is, as 5-inch scale vehicles go, this is the only one I've really come across. I think this is an excellent 5-inch scale vehicle. This does all of this does all the things the utility truck's supposed to do. It's got the utility truck shape. It's got the utility truck feel. It even holds accessories. Very cool. Just like the Wreck and Slam rig. It was a utility truck that had all the trappings of a utility truck. And this has got the same. It's good stuff. It's good stuff here. So, it's good for your Dragonstars, and it's good for your nieces or nephews. If they like Buzz Lightyear, or even if they just like pushing cars around on the floor, this is a nice little vehicle for them to have. I have been Blind Prime. That's been Cream the Cat. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed today's gift idea. Yesterday's video was a bit of a horrendous one. Cream! I was a bit too angry in yesterday's video, so I took it down because I just did not like how I sounded. I let too much of my feelings, my personal feelings from Benny the Comic Historian's passing, I let too many of them into that video. And so I took it down because I didn't feel as though it's right. So I'm going to give it a week, and I'll try to make the Studio Series Devastator video about the vehicle modes again, whenever I'm at a more stable foundation for feelings, because I really feel strongly about my dislike of some of those vehicle modes, and mixing those strong feelings with the strong feelings of Benny's passing led me to becoming a rage monster in that video, and I did not like being a rage monster in that video. I did not like listening to that video afterwards, and I went, maybe I shouldn't, and so I made it private. Also, before I let you go, they did a box opening for the Dragonfly. And the box opening for the Dragonfly was a really good video, and I really want you to go and listen to it, especially if you backed the Dragonfly. I appreciated the fact that the engineers for the Dragonfly were the ones opening it and talking about it, because they could point out little things that they did while designing it that maybe, other individuals who would have been a part of that wouldn't have known to point out. And I appreciate the fact that those individuals were not part of that video, and that they decided to be somewhere else. Hi, Cream. Yeah, you want something from me. Yeah. Am I not giving you enough love? I'm spending too much time with the camera, and not enough time with the cream. Is that it? Is that it? Yeah, yeah, the wrong sea object. You want me to pay attention to you more. Well, let me finish this video. I'm literally almost done with this video, Cream. Can you just hold off? Okay, thank you. Uh, did you bat my clicker away? You cat. Where did it go? Where did my clicker go? Oh, here it is. Cool. I have this stick that I use to turn the camera on and off, and sometimes Cream moves it around. Anyway, the Dragonfly video was really great. I loved watching it. I mean, I love listening to it, and I do suggest you do the same because it really sounds fun. Let me know in the comments below. I mean, if you got this far. And do you think Crazylegs is a Cobra plant? Because, you know, whenever they were talking about that, they brought up the fact that Ripcord didn't have a parachute, and I'm like, but Crazylegs has the red cap. That means he's supposed to pack the parachute. Are you saying Crazylegs didn't pack Ripcord's parachute? So that tells me Crazylegs wants something bad to happen to Ripcord. If he gave Ripcord the parachute pack and he told him the parachute was in there, and then the parachute wasn't in there, and Ripcord trusted Crazylegs, and Ripcord only discovered the parachute wasn't in there when Ripcord was 500 feet off the ground, you know, makes me really wonder about the, you know, the side that Crazylegs is on. What side of the G.I. Joes is Crazylegs on? Is he more on the Cobra side? Because I think a Cobra member would be an individual who wouldn't pack a parachute for Ripcord. It's just one of those things. It bothered me. Let me know in the comments. Did it bother you too? And also let me know in the comments, what do you think of this toy? Do you think you'll get it for your nieces and nephews, your own children, or your grandchildren? Let me know in the comments below. Be well, mates, and I hope all of you have a great day. Until next time, bye-bye for now.